Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everyone. We've talked with her before about interior design and what goes into some projects going from before to after. Today, we're going to change it up just a little bit and talk about if you're looking to become an interior designer, what's involved in that? Yeah, the schooling, the creativity, the process, which invariably is going to lead us into what's involved in a project as an interior designer. Always love talking with her. Dianne Davant joins us once again here on the program. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
A little chilly in Florida. That's what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah, a little chilly for us in Florida on the water here.
Wow. I take that, though, in a second. I would... You just yeah, coming from New York. How did you know you wanted to be an interior designer, Dianne?
I always felt like I was very artsy growing up, and I eliminated a few other majors in college, art history, basically because I needed to make money. I was knew I was going to become a single mother, and I needed income. And I was like, okay, what can I make some money? And so I went into interior design and graduated with my degree, got a divorce, and hung out my shingle with nothing. I mean, I didn't have money to start up. I had absolutely nothing except I had a passion. And if you have a passion, it's never work.
Wow. Was the passion truly to be creative? You just wanted to be creative.
I wanted to be creative, and I wanted to do something where I could make money, support my family. And basically, that's what I was trying to do. I think a lot of people thought I would fail. I think a lot of people thought that my family was bankrolling me. No way. I had nothing. I was too proud. I never asked for a dime, never would have taken a dime. So I just dug in my heels and said, somehow I'm going to do this. And it's a lot of work to do it. You have to be willing to work.
Did you know you were going to succeed?
Actually, no, I didn't. I really didn't. And looking back now, I'm probably the most surprised person of all to be where I am now with two wonderful offices, great staff of probably, I think, maybe 16, 18 employees. And we've been like a family.
Wow.
So, but I never anticipated where this would go ever. And so I'm very, very happy looking back. And if I can help anyone else by sharing my road to success, I'm very happy to do that.
I love that. And I can feel your energy talking about your staff, like family. I can feel it. Like it's like you feel gratitude and blessed that you have these people working with you.
Absolutely. When I would leave my office in North Carolina and go to my office in Florida, they would turn my office into a nursery. So my designers continued to work with tiny babies. And so they all had the drive and the passion to continue. So when I say it's been a family, I feel like I've raised their children as well as my own. So it's been great. Yeah. Yeah. So if someone wants to get started, I would advise them to see where they can go shadow a designer, wherever that is. Volunteer. Don't expect to get paid. Offer to do something for a design firm. You might just be hanging fabrics, you might be unloading boxes. You don't know what you're going to be doing or what they might need. But I can tell you, almost everyone who came in to my office like that, normally they have a design background and education, but I ended up hiring them. And it's really worked out really, really well.
Is that because you saw that they had promise, you saw that they had ambition, you saw that they wanted to use their creativity to help others?
Not so much to help others, I would say. They were just passionate about doing design.
Wow.
So, and I probably am like the world's worst, or maybe some would say best boss, because when I hired them, I didn't really tell them what to do. I knew they were capable, and I just turned them loose, and they found their way. Obviously, they worked directly for me for a while, doing whatever I needed, but then they gradually had the experience. They start working with people on their own. So it grows like that.
Looking back, and could be the very beginning, could be your first year in, whatever it might be. What do you feel, Dianne, was your biggest challenges?
Oh, let's see. Biggest challenges, I think. Well, and I didn't see them as challenges so much as opportunities to get to the point that I could have my own accounts. And that's somewhere else I was going. When if you can go in and shadow, you can get a job, you can work for free somewhere, you'll get a feeling, you'll know, is this really for me or not? You might hate it because it's invariably not what you learn if you're taking design classes. It's not, they don't teach you the stress level. They don't teach you working with clients. They don't teach you that you are going to have to babysit every subcontractor. You're going to have to make sure the plumber does his job, the electrician does his job. You got to stay on top of everything. And it often falls to you to make sure a project stays on course. So it's a lot of responsibility, and that's very stressful. It's also very challenging.
See, I look at your portfolio, these wonderful redesigns of homes, living spaces, and they're just amazing. I don't even think about babysitting the subcontractors. Wow.
Yeah.
Having done some stuff, having stuff done, over homes over years, I get the visual of what it was like for me to deal with, on a tiny level like that. I can't imagine what that must be like. And now it's not just your project, you're doing it for the homeowner. So now there's more on you. I can see the pull because a lot of that stuff is out of your control. So now you're trying to keep the client happy. Meanwhile, you're dealing with a subcontractor who has other jobs, whatever the situation may be. It's out of your control.
It is. And I'm a control freak. I want to make sure everything's done on a timely basis. If you can't come, don't tell me you're going to be there. Just tell me the truth and we'll work on it from there. So, and bear in mind, probably, I would say the vast majority of my clients are not in town when their projects are being done. They are often far, far away. It's not something they can run up and look at. So I am their eyes and ears, and I have to keep control over the project for them. And there's a lot they don't know, which is good, because one of my jobs is to keep their stress level low so that I absorb the stress for them. And they, oh my God, if they knew half of what we do behind the scenes on their behalf, they would never believe it, probably.
This is why you hire an interior designer.
Amen.
It's the truth. I think when we first got together, I told you about my backyard renovation and what that caused.
Yeah.
Do you recall?
Yes.
Yeah. Gave me an ulcer.
Your scratching pad sofa.
Oh, no. I'm talking when I renovated the backyard of a house I bought in 2014. So it was right around 2016, right around there. And did the entire backyard. Blew out, there was like scrub brush, got rid of all of that, put in a pool, the slide, the pergola, the hot tub, the pavers, everything. Tropical, love tropical. Had a palm tree, all of that. I did a little bit of the work, some of the electrical and all of that, but worried about all the trades, the subcontractors. That legitimately, I tell no lies ever, gave me an ulcer.
Yeah.
Sent me to the hospital on my birthday. Not even kidding. I was at the beach with my kids. I'm like, we got to go. And I went to the hospital, and it was part of early morning hours, kids, backyard renovation, all of that at once. So I'm just illustrating that, sharing. I was dealing with those tradespeople. And that was part of the stress. You know, when are they going to show up? This one can't do that unless that one does. Oh, they're coming in. Town's coming in to inspect. We got this, got that, got that. That's not my job, but I made it my job. Never do that again.
Yeah. Well, and you have to make it your job. And it's not just the subs. So imagine you're dealing with that, and you have a house full of things, from the tile, the flooring, everything. So you get a call. Oh my God, the tile's been discontinued. You find that out. Okay. So, and that happens, that sort of thing happens all the time.
Yep.
So we have to know how to jump and make something happen when it looks like it's going to be the end of the world. And so it's not just trying to control those subs, you're trying to control a lot of other things, from the furnishings to the fabrics, and things do get discontinued or misshipped. So there's a lot going on that we have to stay in control of.
What's your advice for somebody even contemplating becoming an interior designer? It looks attractive to them. They just have that creativity from within. They look at, different designs, and it resonates, feels good. What's your advice?
Well, I'll go back to what I said. Try to volunteer, try to take some design courses. And, if you're already in college and are thinking about changing majors, and go to interior design, but you may want to go in and shadow some courses and just really see if you're really interested. I think that's very important. Then you have to really make sure you like it, because it is going to be stressful. I guarantee you, as you have admitted. So once that happens, and say you're sure, okay, this is what you want to commit to. You want to be an interior designer. So what next? How do you get started? I think that it depends on what level of design you want to go into. If you just want to be a decorator and pursue that, then that's great. If you want to become a professional interior designer, which is a long road, painful, worth it, then that's a whole other thing. So you have to kind of decide what you want to pursue like that. And then you start trying to find out, how do I get a client, right? How do I find somebody that wants to work with me? I think the best thing that I ever did was reach out to realtors. They are fabulous at referring clients to people because they know their clients, they're in their homes.
Sure.
They develop a personal relationship, and they can say, hey, I've got someone who can really help you.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought of that. And even if let's say you're an interior designer who does staging, oh my gosh, real estate's, you were made for them in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But one thing to remember, if you get a referral, you have to make the client happy. You'll never get another referral.
Yeah.
At least from that realtor. And then it sort of builds, once you start getting some clients in, if you've made them happy, they'll tell their friends. And the realtor will tell other realtors and other clients. So and that's really the way I got started, just that and a few family friends, I would say, that wanted to give me a chance. So where do you find what you're working with? If you're in a city, you'll have a design center. So you go to the design center and you get your samples, and that you start working through them. You find sources where you can order furnishings. And I was lucky being in North Carolina because I was right in the heart of furniture country.
Oh my gosh.
And,
Never
yeah,
thought of that.
yeah.
Wow.
And I grew up with these people. I grew up with the people in Century, the people in Bernhardt, all of those companies. And I was right there. So because I knew those and I went to market twice a year, every year, I just kept developing contacts, and I could buy them, the sources, through someone else because I didn't have a showroom. I couldn't show the goods, so they wouldn't sell to me directly. So now I'm in a position because I have a showroom in North Carolina, a showroom in Florida. Designers can come and I sell to them. So, it works. It works really well for me to help designers like that.
Dianne, you've been doing this for many, many, many years. 5-star reviews all the time. So many clients. You've changed their lives over the years. Did you have any moments where you, in the beginning, where you were thinking, maybe this isn't right for me, or you always knew this is what I'm doing?
I would say I always knew that this was it. I knew it was the only thing I could do, basically. And I was very tunnel vision. I didn't try to do anything else. But I had wonderful clients. 99.9% of my clients, you get to be very personal with them. You get to know all about their family, all their quirks, all of that. But I have only once, maybe twice, run into some very difficult situations. But that difficult client went to jail. So it took years for him to make it to jail. But anyway, so that story worked out.
I'm sure that wasn't connected to you. It just he was that type of client. Leave it at that.
Well, it was not connected to me at all, but he made me cry. He made his wife, he made everybody cry. He screamed, he yelled, he had little tantrums. So, He was difficult. So,
do you remember? Just got about a minute or so here, but I'm really curious. Do you remember the first job you got where it was one of those, and I'm sure you had, some smaller ones there in the beginning, that first big job where you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have the opportunity to work on this project. Do you remember it?
I've had a few of those.
In the beginning, I'm talking about.
In the beginning. Well, in the beginning, let's see. Well, this was after some years, but I did an NFL football stadium. And then I lived long enough to redo what I did. So that was
wow. Okay. When you say NFL football stadium, what aspect are we talking about here?
Well, to start with, I did a facelift on a stadium, and actually the first designer who did it was from Miami. This stadium was in Florida. She was from Montana, and at the time, you probably don't know this, I used to have an office in Montana as well. So I redid her work on the stadium, and then it was a facelift. Just the wall coverings, the carpet, that kind of thing. The second time, redid all of the public spaces, all of the suites, which there are 240 some, I think. But the restaurants, everything. Absolutely.
Dianne,
everything.
Thanks for sharing. I was talking about a big job. Okay, not that kind of little. I'm kidding. Oh my gosh. like whoa.
But I've had so many great ones, like country clubs. Some really cool country clubs I've done.
When you writing a book?
I have people ask me that. I have some very humorous stories that I could share. Maybe not, but anyway.
Wow. What a history. Dianne, your website, how do we find you? Somebody's looking, whether it's looking for a redo, a design of any size, or somebody looking to get into the interior design business, how do we find you?
Go to my website, davant-interiors.com.
Wonderful talking with you today. Thank you for all your transparency and your insight. And the career continues. My gosh, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Steve.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the mytuner-radio, online radio box, and simpleradio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcasts on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.